Moving on to number 11, agreements for acquisition of real property with Eagle Molding Company, number 1, and Harder Packing Company. Ben Moody, welcome back.
All right.
Where?
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. So, the item I have before you, it's a nice item. Okay, so the picture says all the words here. So what I have before you is basically authorization for the city manager to enter into acquisition agreements for 2 pieces of property that will be along the future Jefferson Avenue per our general plan. No batteries, I guess. Let's see here. There's a zoom in a little bit. So if you look down towards the southeast corner of the triangle there with the dark black line, we're basically Jefferson Avenue. It comes into the okay. There we go. So the area we're looking at is right in here. And so this is the Harder development, and this is Eagle Molding Company right here. And so what we have here is there's right now there's a disconnect between Jefferson Avenue here on the west and the future Jefferson Avenue on the east. And so staff has basically been working over the last couple years to push this project forward to connect the bike lane, and then also be that connection to our future park in that area. And so with working with Eagle Molding and then also with Harder Packing Group, we finally got an appraisal set that's agreed on and terms to do with the acquisition and fee versus easement. And there's a lot of particulars with this particular property because it was the old railroad property. There's a Sutter County drainage ditch there, and then there's also PG&E utilities, and it's encumbered with a lot of easements. And so so after those efforts, we've got to a point that we've pretty much settled on the agreements, with a caveat that we'd like to Harder's just touch base with us today that they have a couple sticking points on the indemnification regarding some hazardous substance conditions that we think we could work through. And so with that, we're real close to basically moving forward to finalize those agreements and buy that property. And so those 2 pieces of property, you got the Eagle Molding, it's about 1.14 acres for $6,300, and Harder Packing 0.71 acres for $5,500, for a total of $11,800. And so with that, I'd like to get approval for items A and B with the caveat here for compliance with material terms and conditions, substantial compliance with material terms, to give staff a little bit of wiggle room to finalize those terms for Harder. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Through the mayor, Mr. Moody, what are the hazardous materials concerns? That concerns me.
Well, I definitely concerned us, and so so we paid a consultant to do a phase 1 environmental assessment to look into it, because when Harder originally started developing to the east with the Walmart, with the development to the east at Home Depot, there was some arsenic in different items that were removed and hauled off. And so we paid a consultant to go through there, and he basically deemed conclusion after that assessment that there was no evidence of recognized environmental issues, and it concluded that there's no additional environmental assessment that is needed. So with that, and so now there's a little bit of terms as far as how long, because typically the city, when we have an area that's might have environmental issues, we get it in easement instead of getting it in fee. And both of these property owners want to give it in fee, so they exclude all future issues with that. And so as we've changed those agreements to basically say, hey, we're only taking it in easement and all liability is on the property owner, we're working backwards to basically satisfy them and satisfy us.
Through the mayor, so staff's opinion is that with the study that was completed, you're satisfied that there aren't any lingering nasty stuff in there that would come back to haunt us.
With the phase 1 done and the thorough record search and the cleanup that was done previously with the ditch in there, yes.
Thank you.
Very good.
Through the mayor. Ben, in reading the report in the environmental section of it, it's stating that, the CEQA assessment, that in that portion, there was nothing else needed in that requirement. So can you clarify? I'm confused between the two, what you were just speaking in this other report.
So for this environmental portion of the staff report, in particular, it's in regards to purchasing property, that the project of purchasing property,
Mhm.
and then moving forward with a future bike lane project. And so this area has had an environmental analysis done in multiple ways through the original general plan process, where that road was looked at to basically be a through road for Jefferson Avenue. And then it was also looked at environmentally for when we applied for the park grant that we got to the east. And then also we'll go through a NEPA process to finalize it when we do we'll finalize any lingering environmental issues associated with the bike lane project at that time. I don't know, that's a long story,
Yeah.
but basically this particular environmental has to do with the purchase of the property, not with the construction.
Construction of the, okay, so that's clear to me.
If
Okay,
I said
thank
that
you.
right. I'm looking at the attorney if I misspoke. Okay.
I think I got it. It's clear as mud. Yeah, I'm good.
Anybody else? Anybody from the public care to comment? All right, we can entertain a motion.
Go ahead.
All right. To the mayor. So I'd like to make a motion, staff's recommendation of the agreement, the acquisition of real property of Eagle Molding Company number 1 and Harder Packing LLC. Recommendations A and B.
Second.
All right, first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? None. Very good.
Through the
Thank you.
mayor.
Yes, sir.
Would you mind if we had Mr. Moody stand up there for just one more second? I wanted to take a moment to thank you. I don't know if you're going to be heading out of here, but thank you for stepping up and doing what you did during the interim period as well, through the Public Works Department and your efforts and your patience with a new council and lots of questions too. So I just wanted to let you know I appreciate it.
Very much appreciated and the support from Diana and the staff has made it happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
All right,